Alice had complete access to my phone and social media from the moment we began dating. Alice had full access to my phone from the moment we began dating, and would come in my room daily. Alice would come in my room for our entire relationship. Alice had full access to my phone, went through my following, and instead it would show that Alice had been abusing me for our entire relationship, blackmailing me throughout our relationship. You don't fucking do it. Punching me, kicking me throughout our relationship, she had been threatening me throughout our entire relationship. Alice hit me many times throughout our relationship, and this happened consistently from the moment she had been assaulting me throughout our relationship. I was uncomfortable being hit in our relationship, and this was not the first time that Alice had reached the point where I was afraid to interact with our cat or Alice out of fear of being assaulted, as it had been going on for months. Alice constantly complaining about being physically abused was me. But as I've shown, I would react badly to the constant physical abuse and gaslighting that I was being put through, which Alice has completely denied and hidden from her document. Alice has also got
9 months after being accused of terrible abuse from his ex, ImAllexx's finally has responded with a 2-hour-long video going over all of the allegations that were brought onto him. At least I hope that's what this video is about. Just a quick little recap to go over kind of what happened 9 months ago. I know if you're watching this video, you probably already know, but for the people who haven't, Alex told Alice that I'm going to effing kill you. I'm going to break your neck, tells her I hate you genuinely, calls her unbearable, tells her to die twice, tells her I don't want you, calls her a jobless freak, and then also acts as if giving advice on YouTube is God's gift to this world that he has put him on this earth for. Yeah, I mean, look at these texts are insane. Tells her to kill herself, calls her a dumb whore, tells her that she has an intelligence level of a quote fucking brick, says the N-word unprovoked, calls her dumb whore again, says she has the literacy of a child, tells her he has no fond memories of her, tells her to die in a hole, tells her to hang herself in the garden, tells her I'll be fine without you and that you are nothing without me. On video, tells her to lay down like a dog and take it.
Now, when it's too fucking late, you admit you did everything fucking wrong. But when it actually matters, when you should lay down like a good fucking dog, you don't fucking do it. You fight for some reason. I don't know why you fight, because you're losing.
And just to tie it all together, tells her in a Discord call with cam on for some reason that he's going to bash her head in with a brick.
They need to fucking fix.
I'm gonna fucking bash your fucking head against the wall with a brick if you don't shut the fuck up. Because this one, genuinely, this one, you fucked this, royally fucked this.
You have to know what it is and fix. It's fine. You don't like, you don't clean up after yourself. Neither do you. So, we're even. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
So this is a lot different than allegations we've covered before because we have a lot of evidence against him. Now, I'm just going to go off and start this video and say that no, Alice is not the best person in the world. Alice has already conceded that she was also toxic during the relationship. However, I will admit most of it does look like reactive abuse because of, look at the actions of Alex. It'd be kind of hard not to also be toxic back to him. After she finally leaves him, he ends up sending her a whole bunch of gifts, including a self-incriminating handwritten letter for some reason. I don't know. Now, remember that this was 9 months ago, and this is an 1 and 40-minute video, and you just heard the intensity of the things I just told you. I hope this is really good. Alex decides to spend the first 10 minutes talking about Clare's Law. Clare's Law in the UK is a law that allows you to go to police with information on an abusive ex or abusive partner, and that information will be stored in a database, so that way, if that person decides to date someone else, that person can look into their past and go and get information from the police to see if they've had a history of being abusive or anything like that. Now, Alice claims that due to the abuse that Alex put her through, he has been put on the Clare's Law database. Alex defends this by saying that no charges were brought against him, which is true. No charges were brought against Alex, and he even says that the police investigation that Alice said that he was under is completely false.
Alice said that future partners can check Clare's Law, and later claimed she got me put down in the system so that any future partners who know how Clare's Law works can use this information to stay safe from me. Alice has said that Clare's Law can be used and that I am in the system, alleging that I am a convicted criminal or that I have a criminal record, as it would not be possible for the police to have done nothing and for the police to have put me on the system as a convicted criminal or as someone with a criminal record.
Alright, so if Alex even understood how Clare's Law worked, which is interesting because I'm in the US and somehow I can find this out, but you're in the UK and you can't find this out. On page 18 on the DVDS statutory guidance from April 2023, something that Alex even cites in the video, it states that a concern occurs if A and any relevant children are at the risk of harm from B, based on the balanced profile of B that takes into account convictions and cautions or being a serial perpetrator. Cases not proceeded with, intelligence concerning violent or abusive offensive, which do not necessarily need to be related to domestic abuse. Previous concerning behavior towards previous partners, including patterns of behavior indicative of stalking, controlling, or coercive behavior. Making it clear that he still may have info on the Clare's Law database, even if he wasn't charged with anything. The police can put in baseless accusations towards someone to build a profile on them in the Clare's Law database, and if asked by a future partner, they may be able to disclose that information. The only way that Alex would be able to disprove this is if he requested that information on himself. Did he do that? No. He just keeps showing the same screenshot over and over again, which is a common theme here of the Clare's Law thing. Also, 7 minutes in, and he still hasn't covered anything that we talked about in the very beginning of the video. Not only this, he uses the same DM from Alice to Jay Aubrey, another YouTuber, a total of 19 times. Again, this is a common occurrence because he doesn't have that much evidence as he says he does. But hey, maybe he does. Who knows? Alice has since then provided screenshots of her talking with the police and a crime report that she filed with a date and everything. Obviously heavily redacted to cover personal information. But yeah, that's kind of a hard point, dude. And Alex's next point is that Alice has, quote, bullied people on Twitter that pointed out her, quote, many inconsistencies in her document. In order to prove this, Alex shows us people just saying that there were inconsistencies. There are 0 screenshots so far that have shown any point of inconsistencies. They literally just say it, like it just says inconsistencies. This is not what inconsistencies, dude. You couldn't find a single one in 9 months that shows one inconsistency. He then points out Alice of using the N-word same as him by showing a screenshot from the YouTuber's Cope and Seeth replying to her accusations, showing that the screenshots that she included in her document were actually cropped, and when uncropped because the metadata is still in the photo, you can see that Alex's name in her phone was actually racist N-word. We're this far into the video, and so far we have a lie. You just straight up lied to us, and the fact that she also used the N-word. 9 months, dude? Really? All right, cool. She concedes on this. She doesn't even lie about it. She says, yes, I am guilty of using the same language as he is, as I am, disappointed in myself for doing that. I did that, whatever, right? Instead, Alex says here that he's deeply disappointed in the language that he's used, and he knows it's wrong, and he deeply regrets using this language.
Her using the same racial slurs that she'd accused me of bringing into our relationship, as it directly contradicted her story. This was unacceptable behavior, and I deeply regret using such horrific language, and this will be further addressed in this video.
Remember, at the time, Alex was 24. You were a full-grown ass man using this type of language in that video and over text. I'm sure you still do this. This is not this is such a stupid point. We are responding to evidence of you threatening to hurt this woman or kill her.
I'm gonna fucking bash your fucking head against the wall with a brick. The fuck up.
Because this.
I don't know what her saying the N-word has to do with any of this, but sure, whatever. Then he claims that Alex denies abusing him mentally or physically, which is true. She did deny this on Twitter. However, to prove this, that she was actually physically and mentally abusive, he pulls up her document that she already admitted to.
Alice has made tweets stating that I do not have any trauma from our relationship together and that she never hit me. These statements are untrue, and in fact, Alice admits to slapping me and pushing me in another in her own document.
Alex, it's been 9 months. I know that she admitted to do this. By the way, this is the first time, one of 10 times, where Alex claims that she was abusive through the entire relationship.
Instead, it would show that Alice had been abusing me for our entire relationship.
Let's hope that he has evidence to prove that she was physically abusive throughout the entire relationship. Then he shows in September of last year, Alice responding to a tweet on Twitter saying that Alex actually doesn't have BPD.
Alice also posted a series of tweets and argument on Twitter stating that I do not have BPD, also known as borderline personality disorder.
Alex decides to disprove this by showing that he actually did get diagnosed with BPD, which is a great point, and accuses him of being a narcissist.
Alice has even gone as far as diagnosing me as a narcissist in her document, and she claimed that she is an empath.
Which he is.
I don't know. Your boyfriend's a fucking famous internet celebrity and doesn't trust these people because he has to keep his circle small. Because you might not have anything to fucking lose, because your life might be down the fucking drain, but I still have quite a lot that I would like to fucking give. Like most of my friends struggle to actually understand what I'm saying. But that's why I'm a professional and you're all not.
These sound like pretty narcissistic things to say, Alex. I don't know. But okay, you have BPD. She says you didn't. That's pretty fucked up to lie about. But if you look at the date of the diagnosis, it's happened in July. The document came out in June, far past from when they had broken up and a month after the statement came out. From this, it looks like you went to go get diagnosed after this document showing multiple instances of you being abusive came out. BPD is an excuse for abuse. I don't really know what the point of showing this is. Also, in the document, it says that you had been in the past verbally abusive to a girlfriend. A doctor, from what you told him, was able to see that you were abusive to Alex. That's crazy. I will concede, though, that on this document, it also does say that he was in a previous abusive relationship with an ex-girlfriend. Again, this isn't a video to defend Alice. This is just going over Alex's response to the incriminating evidence that Alice had posted 9 months ago.
I'm gonna fucking bash your head against the wall.
He does this again with just more embarrassing shit. I don't know why you would post this. Like, you having BPD has nothing to do with the abuse. There's no excuse. Like, I'm glad that you were able to get diagnosed with this and seek further help, hopefully. I'm going to be honest, I don't think you are, but, now you have the diagnosis, so whatever. But at this point, that just seems like you're trying to get that to use it to blame shit on. Anyway, his next point is that Alice said that she would move on in her document, that she was done with this. Despite that, though, Alice has continued to post about this.
As Alice has continued to post about me many times online to this day, as I have shown and will...
She lied. She didn't move on. Really? Wow, that's crazy. He does point out that in her document, Alice said that Alex threatened her if she ever decided to come forward with this info. However, she never provided any evidence, which is true. We just have to take her word for it. But then he tries to flip that by saying that Alice was trying to blackmail him with exposing the info about his abuse.
And that is because this is the exact opposite, as Alice had been threatening and blackmailing me throughout our relationship and months after it had ended.
Real quick. So she was blackmailing you by threatening to expose you abusing her. Okay. I just want to make sure that's clear that she was blackmailing you for threatening to expose you abusing her. Okay, yep, all right, cool. Then he says that he actually told friends about the abuse that he had been going through with Alice, saying that she was hitting him and threatening him and all this. And his proof for this is the same text about the kick and the slap before that one, Alice has already conceded to and that he's already shown to us. Okay, but again, remember, this is evidence that she was abusive the whole time. In his next segment, he kind of does own her on one point. In her document, Alice says that during an argument, Alex covered her mouth and dragged her by her hoodie and was threatening her. The proof that she has for this is she wrote down in her notes app that this happened and wrote down the date it happened. But Alex points out that at any point she could have written that down, and that's true. The only other thing that she has is texts with her family that show that when the screenshot was taken, that was the date that she sent them. So other than that, we just have texts and something in her notes app. It's currently just a he said, she said situation on the dragging and covering of her mouth. I'll concede on that. You know what? We don't have evidence. I understand. He then says again that this was to hide the abuse that she put him throughout the entire relationship, and provides again the same screenshot about the one kick and one slap.
Instead, Alice has fabricated the story entirely and has accused me of being physically abusive to hide the fact that she had been slapping, punching, and kicking me throughout our relationship.
And also a screenshot of her saying that she did push him off of her. So in these screenshots that he's showing, she's denying this, and also she already told us this in her document 9 months ago. This isn't new information. Again, let me remind you what we are responding to here.
I'm gonna fucking bash your head against the wall.
In the next segment, Alice assaulting me, he continues talking about the incident where she alleges that he dragged her and covered her mouth, and continues to say that this was part of the threatening and blackmailing him to expose the abuse that he put her through. Okay, can you guess what else he says? He
just created a story because she'd been threatening me for our entire relationship with ruining my life and career.
So you've said this like 3 or 4 times already, that she's been abusing you since day one. There's zero evidence to back this up outside of the evidence that 1, we already have, and 2, she's already conceded to. I don't need you to repeat this again, dude. You probably will. It's all right. Then he shows that she denies him hitting her by showing us a screenshot of her saying he kicked her and him not denying it. Okay. Also, in these screenshots, these either prove one of 2 things. 1, she's lying, or 2, you're gaslighting her. They can't both be true at the same time, Alex. Now, again, this is just a he said, she said situation at this point with this situation right here. I'm going to be honest though, I'm a little bit biased. I'm more inclined to believe the girl that has the video of you saying that you're going to
I'm gonna fucking bash your
with a brick.
That's just my opinion though. I am a little bit biased in this situation. I wonder why. Then he brings up the slap again.
Alice then mocked me because I brought up her slapping me. Alice texted me in response saying, "You're mad if you want to say I'd slap you," even though Alice has now admitted she slapped me in the document that she posted.
How can you slap? How can you slap? How can she slap?
Like, it's crazy. Again, 9 months, this is the best he could come up with. Then he shows that he was forced to sleep on the sofa due to the toxicity of the relationship.
I had started to sleep downstairs because she would punch, kick, and scream at me.
And shows a picture of him sleeping on the sofa. I don't know why you have this, but you know, that's cool. And then, I don't even know how many times it's been at this point. He says that she beat him from day one throughout the relationship. Again, okay.
Come on, let me hear you say it just once. Come on.
Alice has not only not shown these texts from when this apparent fight took place.
No! No, the other thing. Come on, I know it's just dangling out the tip of your tongue. Let me hear it just once, please.
True. Alice hit me many times throughout our relationship, and this happened consistently from the moment that we started dating.
I understand. Alex, buddy. Alex, I know. You said it already. It's okay. You only need to say it one time. This is almost a 2-hour video, Alex. You only need to say it one time. It's fine. It's okay. And then he brings up the slap.
When I brought up that she'd been assaulting me for our relationship.
And the kick.
Alice also went on to send me a message where she said that her kicking me was probably uncalled for.
Again, with these same screenshots that he's already showed us.
Messaged Alice about her assaulting me on Facebook after she had posted TikToks calling me an abuser and lied that I was on Claire's Law and under a police investigation.
Alex, I know. Alex. I know. It's okay. I know, dude. Jesus Christ. Then he brings up how her kicking him had led to him sleeping on the sofa. He tries to prove that this is a common occurrence, but with zero timeline at all. This kick incident you keep talking about sounds like the one singular kick incident, which one she denied, but whatever. Then he says that it was because of his skin condition, which he shows for some reason. Like, dude, this is just gross. I don't want to look at that. Like, I'm sorry you have a skin condition, but like, we are here to talk about
I'm gonna fucking bash fucking head.
Alex, I don't care about your skin condition, dude. Are you going to respond to that or not? Because like, dude, it's 20 minutes in and you haven't said anything about it. Oh my God. Then he says that she called him fat and that really hurt his feelings.
But she'd been kicking me and calling me fat because I told her that I couldn't sleep with a shirt on to hurt me. Alice started by calling me fat in text and in person, and this was because she wanted me to keep my shirt on because she did not like my illness and she didn't want to see it or be around it.
Then he says that Alice kicked him so hard, donkey kicked as he describes it, again with zero evidence that he fell out of the bed. He just says this. He doesn't provide anything.
I was turned around in bed and kicked me in my lower back, and I told her to fuck off, and then she kicked me even harder and then started donkey kick me in my neck and in the back of my head. Alice had done this so hard that I fell out of the bed while she was still kicking me.
But in the same breath, he admits to us verbally abusing her and then shows again the same screenshot that we've seen multiple times.
I proceeded to get incredibly angry, and I shouted at Alice, and I insulted her, and this is something that I deeply regret doing. When I messaged Alice about this on Facebook, she said that she didn't just start kicking me hard.
So at this point, all you've done is showing us that she's denied kicking you. I'm sorry if this is the most boring response to threats of violence. It gets worse. I'm sorry. We are now entering the cat era, to where Alex talks about a singular incident with the cat for 20 minutes. To prove that Alice was abusive the whole relationship. Remember, this is a singular incident. He shows that Alex denies, quote, punching him in the face. In her document, she does say that.
Alice said this in her document. He then goes on to say, I punched him in the face over the cat. This
which Alex says is not true. That did happen. Now remember, he is quoting specifically here that Alice punched him in the face. Remember that, okay? I want you to remember punch, okay? Nothing else. He's describing it as a punch to the face. Cool, great. Now we're on the same level. All right, cool. Now, in order to prove this, he shows text from Alice saying that she pushed him off of her, and says that what she doesn't show is hundreds of texts showing that she abused him and got physical, and that she downplays the physical attacks. Remember, this has been described as punching so far.
Whole story. Alice does not show the hundreds of texts where she admits to getting physical and trying to hurt me, whilst also downplaying the seriousness of a physical attack on me whilst justifying them.
To prove this, he shows a screenshot of him telling Alice that you tried to hit me, not punch, hit, right? Try to hit me. To which Alice denies it twice. Yeah, that's the proof that we currently have. All right. He explains that this happened when the cat jumped on his chest and he started making jokes, which Alice claims were really nasty, weird jokes, such as, I'm going to take the cat away from you, stupid jokes like that. Her statement in her document reads as, he then goes on to say, I have punched him in the face over the cat. This is Delulu Island we are on now because he's trying to grab on anything he can to create his own story. This didn't happen and I couldn't tell you where he cooked this up from. This is from an argument where he was being horrible, had the cat in his arms, and came up to me making jokes about taking him away. Alex was in my face all over me doing this, so I pushed him off of me. He claims here that he did not make up this punch, the punch, okay? And highlights how mean it is that she says that he's on Delulu Island for making this up.
Over the cat. This is Delulu Island we're on now because he's trying to grab onto anything he can to create his story. This didn't happen and I couldn't tell you where he cooked this up from. This is from an argument where he was being horrible, had the cat in his arms and came up to me making jokes about taking him away. Alex was in my face all over me doing this, so I pushed him off of me. I got this story from our own text that Alice has left out of her document. It is not something that I had cooked up, and I'm not creating my own story as there were hundreds of texts of me complaining when it. I got this story from our own text that Alice has left out of her document. It is something that I had cooked up, and I'm creating my own story as there were hundreds of texts of me complaining when it happened that Alice doesn't show, which I will read for full clarity.
Then he points to where she said he pushed him, showing again, same screenshot that I just showed you.
Off the first part of the conversation where I asked Alice why she tried to hit me.
Of him telling Alice she hit him and her denying it twice. He said at this point he asked her to leave the house because he had become tired of all of the physical and verbal abuse that he has endured, again, throughout the entire relationship.
I asked Alice to pack her things and leave as I was not comfortable being hit in our relationship, and this was not the first time that Alice had hit me. At first,
oh my god. And he shows the same screenshots again and again, claiming that this proves that she assaulted him. Again, these screenshots show that she denies hitting him and admitted to pushing him off of her, which she said in her document. He tries to spin it as proof that she hit him and that she tried to deny it. Then he points out that in her document, she says that Alex was being horrible by making these jokes. He says that they were just jokes.
She just references the joke I made about taking the cat away. This is because I wasn't being horrible, and Alice is misrepresenting the situation intentionally by hiding these texts that showed what really took place. Alice again acknowledges in texts that I was joking, and that I was not being serious at any point, and that she was aware of this the entire time this argument was taking place. This contradicts what Alice has said in her document, where she claims that I was being horrible, as Alice knew the whole time I was joking, as shown by these messages.
You can still be horrible and make shitty jokes, dude. Again, dude, we're here because you said that you were gonna throw a brick against this lady's head against a wall, and you threatened to kill her over text. I don't know, dude. Oh my god. He then says that she tried to move the conversation away from the physical abuse by showing us a screenshot where she brings up the push.
Alice tried to take the conversation away from it being about physical abuse and said that I was asking her to leave because she didn't laugh.
So no, she didn't. There's 0 point in bringing this up, dude. Oh my god. Again, like, this is 9 months. This is the best you could come up with. This is crazy. He then uses the same screenshot again, showing that she said that she pushed him off of her to prove that she assaulted him.
Alice says, because I didn't laugh, because I pushed you off. Once again showing that Alice clearly knew that she had been physical with me, and then mocked me and belittled me for it.
Never mind that the texts say that she pushed him off of her. Oh my god. And then, again, says that the abuse and the assaults have been happening for months.
And I reached the point where I was afraid to interact with our cat or Alice out of fear of being assaulted, as it had been going on for months at this point.
Alex, I know, dude! Oh my god, like, I am not embellishing this. If you want to go torture yourself, go watch this and just see how long it takes for you to be like, has it been looping? How many times is this guy gonna say the same fucking thing over and over and over?
Alice had been threatening and blackmailing me throughout our relationship. Instead, it would show that Alice had been abusing me for our entire relationship. The fact that she had been slapping, punching, and kicking me throughout our relationship. Some true. Alice hit me many times throughout our relationship, and this happened consistently from the moment that we started dating. When I brought up that she had been assaulting me throughout our relationship, I asked Alice to pack her things and leave, as I was not comfortable being hit in our relationship, and this was not the first time that Alice had hit me. At first, and I reached the point where I was afraid to interact with our cat or Alice out of fear of being assaulted, as it had been going on for months at this point.
My genuine analysis of this is that he made this video specifically in this way to make sure that no one could actually finish it, just to say that he responded. It's like actually so manipulative, it's crazy. Remember he said he had hundreds of screenshots showing that she punched him? This is the end of that segment. Where's the punch at, Alex? Oh my god, Jesus Christ. Now we're in the emotional abuse segment. Ooh, yes. Brings up that in her document, Alice said that when she would take the cat away from him for making these weird jokes, he would, quote, act like a child having his toy taken away.
There are so many cases where I end up taking Bear into another room, saying that taking the cat off him is starting an argument when I only did it after he said weird things to him. Acts like a child had his toy taken away when realistically, I was uncomfortable with him being near my cat after saying what he does. Alice says that I acted like a child had his toys taken away, and that I complained that taking the cat off me is starting an argument.
Alex says that this was mean, and repeats that she uses these words to downplay his feelings. He repeats this point 3 times.
Alice says that I acted like a child had his toys taken away that came to me and the cat. Alice says in a document that I was acting like a child because of this. I had broken down crying in front of Alice, which is why she says I'm acting like a child. Alice makes, and to read that my breakdowns have been described as acting like a child who had his toy taken away shows that Alice was aware that it affected me and is even now still insulting me and mocking me for pushing me to my breaking point.
I don't give a shit, dude. Like, again, remember why we're here, please.
I'm gonna fucking
Now, just listen to what he says here.
Like in these messages. Alice says she pushed me away because it was my fault, and all I do is call her names. But that is not what happened or how this argument took place. I would get upset after I was pushed, slapped, or punched. I was horrible to Alice on many occasions, and I deeply regret this behavior, and nothing will justify that. But the order in which these events have been portrayed as false, as Alice is once again ignoring that she had tried to hurt me when I was just talking with our cat.
Despite this segment of the video being titled Emotional Abuse, he brings up again, and you can hear it, that these arguments would happen after being pushed, slapped, or punched. Again, we have evidence of a slap and we have evidence of a push. 0 evidence of a punch. 0. Except for her saying that she pushed him off of her, and that's it. That's it. I believe Alex at this point, honestly. Shit, if he's going to talk about it so many times, maybe she did punch him. Fuck. Then, again, he shows us texts where Alice says that she pushed him off of her, but tells us that this is when she physically assaulted him.
I said weird shit, so she pushed me off and then told me to grow up and to cry because I was upset that she got physical with me. I pointed out that it was really strange to me that Alice knew that I was joking around with her, but was still treating me like it was okay to assault me, and that I should go and cry about her physically assaulting me.
Alex, when did she hit or punch you? Hitting or punching? That is what you said has happened here. So far, she's pushed you off of her. That's not physical assault, Alex. I don't know what to tell you. The slap? Yeah, sure. But that's not what you're saying happened here.
She shouldn't hit me. Alice then denied hitting me. I did not expect Alice to admit it, as I become used to Alice completely downplaying and excusing being physically abusive in our relationship and mocking me while continuing to call me delusional. As shown in this video, Alice has lied and hidden physically abusing me on multiple different occasions, like she's doing here in these text messages.
No, the fuck she didn't. She conceded multiple times to the slapping and the pushing of you off of her. And so far, all you've done is say that you did assault her and deny that you ever did any of the things that she said you did in text. This sounds like reactive abuse. Again, I'm not saying that Alice is a great person. I understand that she's probably a toxic, bad person to be in a relationship with. But we're here against evidence of you saying that you're going to kill her. And so far, all she's done is call you fat and slap you and kick you. What? He says again that this has been happening. Can you guess what he's just... Yeah, he says it again. He says the thing again.
I said to Alice I was tired of her ruining normal interactions by getting annoyed with me. I felt that Alice was intentionally making excuses to justify hurting me, and that this had happened since we very first began dating, as I mentioned in these texts.
Alex, I don't mean to be a victim blamer here, but if this happened from the first day you started dating, why are you still in a relationship with this woman? I understand being in a long-term relationship with somebody, they start getting abusive, it's kind of hard to leave them. But from what you're saying, this happened from the first day you started dating. Why would you continue being in a relationship with this person? I'm not trying to victim blame, but that statement that this happened day 1 is crazy. You're telling me you guys went out on a date and she hit you? Why would you be with this woman?
Then says she pushed me because I was in her face. This is a complete lie, as I was laying down flat on my back in bed with the cat on my chest, and Alice moved towards me and pushed me.
Okay, so Alice pushing you off is a complete lie, as you were laying on your back in bed at the time. So what did this push look like? You were laying flat down on your back, and she pushed you. How the fuck does that work, Alex? How did she push you while you were on your back? What happened? She pushed you in bed? Like, how the fuck did she move you? That doesn't make sense. Then he says that she hit him again.
This shocked me, and I started to feel extremely worried about how Alice had begun to twist the narrative that I somehow had gone from just telling a joke about the cat to now being in Alice's face. Not only did Alice then downplay how hard she hit me, she began to rewrite the story of me being at fault over text.
Alex, when? When did she hit you? Show me proof of her hitting you. Besides the slap, all you've told me so far is that she pushed you while you were laying down. It's not the same as getting hit, dude. Or pushing you is not hitting you. It's also not punching you. Things that you have claimed that she has done, which you have provided 0 evidence of. Remember how I conceded that, yeah, maybe you didn't drag her and cover her mouth because she had no evidence. Why am I supposed to to believe you here. And then says that, Alex keeps saying that it was her cat, and actually he thought the whole time that it was their cat because he paid $200 and she only paid $50. Alex, I don't care.
Going issues surrounding the cat, and Alice wrote in a document that she didn't want me near Bear because I would call him mine, and she capitalized this. Alice would shout at me and get physical with me when I said the cat was ours. I never said to anyone that the cat was mine. We were a couple who had brought him together and lived together, so I believe that it was our cat. Alice had paid the £50 deposit for Bear and asked me to pay the remaining £200 so that we could get him. I believe this meant that he was our cat as we were both paid for him and we were moving in with each other.
Then he says again that she tried to hide the physical and verbal abuse that she put him. I'm not.
No reason. I struggled massively with the constant mental and physical abuse I faced throughout our relationship.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep saying it, but I need you to understand how many times that this man says this. Like, it is infuriating. It is so crazy. Then we get to isolating me from his friends. You would assume that at this point we would have covered the brick and threats that you said to this lady, but no. Oh, God. Ugh. He says that when she found out that he was telling people about the abuse that she had been putting her through, she would tell him that he's lying, and then right after that lies and says that she said that he was a convicted criminal, using again the debunked claim that I gave you proof. This is not just off some website. This is from the government of the UK. This is your government that you could have looked at. You could have looked at this PDF if you want. I'll leave it in the description if you want, dude. Fuck. That Claire's Law database does not require you to be a charged criminal. It is just, you can have information in there with just accusations, dude, that weren't even followed or proven.
Alice had found out that I told my friends about the physical abuse because I leaked my messages to her, and because of this, Alice claimed I was making up a contradictory story to hers to release publicly on my own accord. She does not mention that I was responding to lies that I'm a convicted abuser that she posted on her TikTok publicly, and that she had been going through and following my friends months after we had broken up, trying to get their attention to spread this lie, which ended up with my friends asking me to explain this to them after seeing the TikToks that Alice was posting online.
Then he brings up the one slap again that he's already showed us. Oh my God!
Alice then proceeded to admit to hitting me during our relationship in the same conversation where she threatened to sue me.
Then he brings up that he was contacted by his ex, who, real quick, in 2020 already put out an allegation that Alex was abusive during their relationship. Ooh, 2 for 2, Alex? Really? Damn, dude. Fuck. I was rooting for you this whole time, too. That's crazy. And then brings up that Alice contacted his ex, who again accused him in 2020, and asked for her to back her up in her accusations with her story.
I later found out when my ex-girlfriend Jess messaged me that Alice had told Jess that she'd been building a folder on me since January. Alice had stayed in contact with me for months where she antagonized me, threatened me, and continued to mentally abuse me so that she could knowingly put my reactions into her document that she had started building in January.
This isn't a point, dude. She already came up with allegations. What harm is it in asking the same person to just stand up with you? It's not, okay, whatever, dude. And then claims that before her document came out, Alice claimed that when she was talking about abuse that she had been in the past, and she never brought up Alex by name. He claims this is a lie.
Alice said that it wasn't like she had named me in these posts or made a video about me.
And then proves this to us by showing us that that's in fact not a lie.
But she had responded and deleted comments on videos she posted saying it was about me and that I was on Claire's Law, which again is a lie.
Okay. Then he says that he had a private conversation with his friend ImAllexx and shows their conversation that they had on text through Discord. In this conversation, ImAllexx asks for proof that Alice had been abusing him, and Alex says that he can't share it. This is after them breaking up, by the way. I'm so sorry for this no timeline thing. This is just how he presents it in the video. We're just breaking this down.
Me and my friends had a call where I answered questions about my relationship, and I told my side of the story where I explained that Alice had been physically abusing me throughout our relationship. I made it clear that I did not believe that this was an excuse for my behavior, and that our relationship was toxic and it was not good for either of us, and that I was ashamed of how I had behaved. A friend of mine at the time, a YouTuber who goes by the name of ImAllexx, had messaged me in our group chat encouraging me to share more stories and all the evidence I had of Alice's abuse. He told me I could trust him, and that because we were friends, that they weren't going to share any of it anywhere, and that it would remain private after I made it clear that I was worried that it would be leaked.
Again, eventually this gets out to Alice, and she sends him the screenshot of him allegedly lying, telling people that she hit him, which she says isn't true. Now, again, yes, it is true that she slapped him and pushed him off of her. But so far, that's all we have. Then he says that a YouTuber named Samuel says that Alex refused to answer questions from his friend ImAllexx, and he says that this isn't true because they had a call, and shows that they did have a call, but then proceeds to show the same screenshots that he just showed us of him refusing to give ImAllexx any actual info. But okay.
Private. According to the YouTuber Samuel, ImAllexx told him that I had refused to answer any of his questions.
And then shows that he did tell ImAllexx about the abuse, but then shows a screenshot of him just saying that she was toxic, not abusive. So I don't know.
Phrased on a few occasions about how I was struggling with Alice and how it was upsetting.
And then says that he opened up fully and honestly with ImAllexx, and then shows the same screenshots where he actually doesn't do that and refuses to give any information on it. Okay.
Oh, the dude never discussed personal stuff with us, lol. Solely just YouTube and games. But Alice had full access to my phone when we were together and was threatening me after our breakup if I mentioned anything to anyone, like she has done after these messages I had with Fraser were leaked. And I did open up fully and honestly about what had been going on for that year when I asked him to call, and in the messages that he has cropped out.
Then he brings up that ImAllexx said that he actually didn't like being friends with Alex, and that he was a widely disliked content creator starting in 2019, and gets upset at this and tries to prove this otherwise. Again, why are we here?
In a document ImAllexx posted responding to allegations that were made against him by his ex-girlfriend Kirsty, ImAllexx made a series of comments about me. Fraser claims that I am a widely disliked content creator, and that I have been since 2019, and that he only remained friends with me because he is a loyal person. I find this rather odd, as Fraser told me that I could trust him, and that he wouldn't talk to anyone, and then spoke to strangers with YouTube channels that interviewed him, and they shared what he said about me publicly. Fraser goes on to then downplay our friendship, as Kirsty accuses him of openly admitting to her that he was only ever friends with me so he could use me to further his career, as he benefited from me. Fraser denies this by claiming that my YouTube channel has been on a decline since 2019, and that I am no longer relevant, mentioning that I was a widely disliked content creator, so it couldn't be possible that he was using me. For someone who apparently wasn't using me, ImAllexx seems to have a lot of knowledge knowledge about my relevancy in YouTube statistics over a 5-year period, as shown in his statement. Fraser claims that I was always disliked and that he was seen as an idiot for being friends with me, and then he wrote this in this paragraph. As you can see, this allegation is really strange to me. Yes, I regret being friends with Alex, but the suggestion I benefited with him is actually quite wild to me, considering it was a public thing of how disliked he was. I actually was seen as a bit of an idiot for remaining friends with him, and truthfully, that's a fair criticism. These statements confused me as Fraser asked me personally if I wanted to start a podcast with him. I said yes because I believed that we were friends and that he was asking me because we had been for years, as we had spent a lot of time together.
Oh yeah, you said you were gonna throw a brick at this bitch's head and that you were gonna kill her. Why are we talking about iNabber, dude? I don't give a fuck. Then he says that she threatened to hit him in public by showing us screenshots of a conversation that they had where she accuses him of calling her names, being mean, taking, quote, it out on her, as well as storming off and being explosive. And instead of denying this, Alex in these texts says, I don't know, I'm thinking. Then he says someone heard her threaten him. Okay, we have proof. And said it was a comment. Shows the comment on screen, and the comment says that he heard that him and his girl were fighting, and he walked past. Okay. Then he says,
not only did Alice threaten me throughout our relationship, but she also blackmailed me throughout the entire time we were together and afterwards.
Again! He says, it says it again. Wow. Jesus. Now we're into the lying and manipulation portion of the video. I'm sorry. Did we talk about the brick yet? Did we talk about the threats? Did we? No? Okay. I just want to make sure because, oh my God. Then Alex says that part of Alice's document where she says after breaking up, he sent gifts and everything like I was talking about earlier after trying to get her back isn't true.
Alice has written in a document that after our breakup, I begged for her to come back, and I also sent gifts and a letter to convince Alice to get back with me because I wanted her to forgive me. But this is not an accurate version of what had happened, and it is a lot more complicated than Alice has portrayed.
Now, Alice says that these gifts included a handwritten letter that, by the way, was self-incriminating, a teddy bear, which was a gift from Amazon, and a hoodie sprayed with his cologne to remind her of how he smelled. He said these were sent because she was threatening to blackmail him, and he just had to comply with whatever she said. That way she wouldn't do that. He proves this by showing that she sent him a TikTok where a guy is talking about written a handwritten love letter after they broke up. Now, she doesn't even give you instructions on what to write, but you decided to self-incriminate yourself in that letter. I don't know why you did that, but you did that. And then he never talks about the hoodie thing. He never denies that. He just doesn't talk about it. Okay. Then he says that Alex stalked who he followed on social media by showing him sending her a message saying, I'm going to refollow everyone you made me unfollow so that she could, quote, know that he didn't have any control over me anymore.
Alice has written in a document that I refollowed girls I'd slept with, and I told her I was going to refollow everyone that I had unfollowed for her. Alice had gone through and isolated me from my friends for our relationship, and was even stalking me after our breakup. I sent her this message to show that she was no longer in control of me, and could no longer make me stop talking to my friends.
Then shows a picture of a conversation after they had broken up, showing him saying that she looks pretty and that he loves her.
Hasn't tried to stalk me or tried to control me in her document. I refollowed my friends when it became clear to me that I was being manipulated and blackmailed by Alice.
How does that have anything to do with what we just talked about, dude? This screenshot is supposed to be part of the timeline to where you are done with her. And you told her, I'm done with your games. And then in the text, you say that you love her and that you miss her. Okay. Then he underlines a part in the text where Alice says that Bear, their fucking cat, says to, quote, unfollow all of these, quote, nude slags that he follows on Instagram. Again, this is the, what is this, the lies and manipulation part? This is just so unserious. What the fuck is going on? Now, remember this screenshot, right? I'm not gonna tell you why, just remember this screenshot though. Then he says that the voice memos of him begging for her back, in which one of them he stubs his toe mid-sentence and
way, I wanted to run off into the sunset with you. I was madly in love. But probably, I had, oh fuck, my toe. Oh, Jesus Christ. Ow, fucking hell. I was madly in love and,
he says that was sent because he was being manipulated and blackmailed. Doesn't provide proof of this at all. Like, you could have recorded that when you were recording these, just a secret little recording that, hey, I'm being blackmailed by Alice. If these recordings come out, I was being blackmailed. And that would have, like, bombshell. But you provide zero evidence, and I'm just supposed to take what you say at face value? Okay, yeah, sure.
I found out later when my ex-girlfriend Jess contacted me that Alice had told her that she'd been planning this document since January, the month that we'd broken up.
Alex, dude, stop repeating this shit. It's driving me insane. And then shows that Alice said that she would add stuff to her notes, pretty much just like adding to the abuse catalog that she's created if they broke up, unless he apologized. Then he denies breaking her monitor, and that's true. In her document, Alice says that when she went to go pick up her stuff after moving out, all of her stuff is broken, like her monitors and stuff like that. He actually does deny this in text, so, I mean, it's up in the air whether or not he did this or not. She could have just broken it during transportation.
Alice has also gone on to accuse me of smashing up her belongings, which is a lie. At no point have I broken anything of Alice's during our relationship, and as you can see from these messages that Alice has left out of her document, she sent me pictures of her monitors a few days after our argument, where Alice had falsely accused me of assaulting her and threatened to report me to the police because I'd asked Alice to stay away from me because I no longer wanted to be in a relationship with her. I told Alice I did not know how this happened, but I offered to pay for new ones to avoid any more arguments, as I was already drained from the constant false accusations, threats, and blackmail.
It's whatever. Again, remember why we're here, please. He does kind of own her on one thing, though, the glasses. She claims that he broke her glasses on purpose just to abuse her on top of breaking her other stuff, and the only evidence of this is a note in her notes app.
Alice has fabricated a story about me breaking her glasses in her document, which is a lie. Alice used her notes as proof that this had happened, but has invented this story retroactively, as shown by the fact that it had been added after she had moved out, specifically for the document. Alice,
that's not proof. I'm sorry. If I'm a judge in this situation, that's not proof. That's just, I don't know. I'm not just going to take her word for it. I'm sorry. Now we're one whole hour into this video, ladies and gentlemen. You've made it 1 whole hour into Alex's response video of him responding to evidence that he threatened this girl and threatened to kill her. And he finally brings it up. He finally gives us some sort of release from this hell, from this eternal hell. Let's see what he has to say.
Just posted videos of me threatening her in arguments. And firstly, I would like to make it clear that it is completely unacceptable under any circumstances that I did this. I said horrific things in these arguments to hurt Alice, and we both said careless things to each other in the hopes that we could annoy the other person and upset them when we started to fight. The language used in our relationship had become deeply normalized, and I'm incredibly ashamed that I contributed to that. I was fully aware at the time that this was completely unacceptable, and nothing makes this behavior okay.
That's it. It's been 9 months and 1 hour. That's what you come up with? All right, dude, I'm so fucking done. Then we get to the cheating part of the video. For some reason here, I don't know. I don't think he knows how like segments work. You're supposed to not bleed into others. Like clearly the lying and manipulation part isn't done because he brings up the fact that Alex says that she never called him a dog and then in fact did call him a dog in DMs.
Alice has continued to lie about the nature of our conversations and made this tweet where she denied calling me a dog at any point, which as shown in this text message is a lie.
Do you remember what you said before though? You remember the stuff that you said before?
Now, when it's too fucking late, you admit you did everything fucking wrong. But when it actually matters, when you should lay down like a good fucking dog, you don't fucking do it. You fight for some reason. I don't know why you fight, because you're losing, because you end up admitting you fucked it all up anyway. So it's just fucking weird. And
I mean, you even told her to lay down like a dog. So, I mean, I don't really know why you're bringing this up, but whatever, cool. And then brings up that people were accusing him of drinking.
In this thread of tweets made, people accused me of being drunk in these videos, which is untrue.
And then shows that Alex came to his defense.
And Alice even corrected this and told people that I did not drink throughout our relationship.
And then it moves on. Moves on from that point. I don't know. I don't know. 9 months, dude. He just doesn't elaborate on that point either. He brings up that Alice said when she would interact with followers, she would get threats. He says this isn't true. However, brings up a situation to when Alice liked a message reading, "I could treat you right," when they started dating from Twitter user Lactating Llama 824. He said that bothered him, which is understandable.
Alice accused me of threatening to break up with her for liking followers' tweets, but has left out the singular tweet that she had liked and that we had had an entire text conversation about, as it would show that Alice was lying. When she was asked if these tweets were to do with cheating on Twitter, Alice said no and denied this. This once again is a lie. The entire conversation Alice references here is about cheating, and this is why she doesn't include or show the tweet and the hundreds of text messages that prove that she is lying once again, as she gaslit me and insulted me for hours and is now trying to make people believe an entirely different story.
At the same time, this happened when they first started dating. Why the fuck would you stay with this girl? Again, if you consider this cheating, why would you stay with her? Asking her for an apology like you did, if this is cheating to you. Mind you, she also did OnlyFans, and I guess she was okay with that, I guess. Nothing against OnlyFans content creators, but like me personally, I'm not going to be in a relationship with someone who does OnlyFans. It's just not. I consider that cheating. For some reason, Alex doesn't, and then gets mad at her for liking a tweet. I mean, I get it. Yeah, like that's, you know, it's weird. Why would you like that tweet? But then at that point, if we had just started dating, break up with that person. Like, you know what? Like, you don't respect me. I don't know. During this, pulls up an entire screenshot of him berating this woman about how "I heard you" isn't enough of an apology, and calls it communicating clearly. Communication 101 with ImAllexx's. Spam wall your girlfriend over liking a tweet. And then when she replies with "yes, dad," he fucking loses it. Like, this isn't, oh my fucking God. And then he says, "Do you want to talk on call?" Because he's, quote, not that great at talking over text.
I felt. I then asked Alice if she wanted to talk on call instead, as I struggled with communicating over text, and I thought that would make it easier.
Do you want to see what you communicating over call looks like, Alex?
I don't know. Your boyfriend's a fucking famous internet celebrity and doesn't trust these people because he has to keep his circle small. Because you might not have anything to fucking lose, because your life might be down the fucking drain, but I still have quite a lot that I would like to fucking give. You're making it incredibly fucking hard for me. Just like Lewis did.
Yeah.
I fucking hate all of you. You guys are fucking like I can't make any videos with Paul Preach. Like most of my friends struggle to actually understand what I'm saying. But that's why I'm a professional and you're all not. Now, when it's too fucking late, you admit you did everything fucking wrong. But when it actually matters, when you should lay down like a good fucking dog, you don't fucking do it. You fight for some reason. I don't know why you fight, because you're losing. I'm gonna fucking bash your fucking head against the wall with a brick.
Shit, I don't know, dude. Fuck. Then he says that Alex would scream at him and that she threatened to scream at him. And proves this by highlighting a message that says that she's not going to scream at him.
Alison tells me that she's going to scream at me.
Alison tells me that she's going to scream at me.
Yep. Then he claims that Alice spammed him with messages.
Alice responded by spamming me with messages.
After showing him spamming Alice with messages. Okay. All right. Whatever. Moving on to the taking of the phone and controlling behavior segment. Alex brings up that in her document, Alice said that while they were dating, he was still interacting with his exes, and she even found nudes of his exes on his phone. She also says that he would be secretive over his phone during this time when she found the nudes and everything. He says that this is a lie and shows a screenshot from Alice's document, again from 9 months ago, that we've already seen, that shows Alice asking Alex why going through his phone is an issue now if previously it wasn't.
Alice has gone on to write another story in her document about me, which is completely untrue. Alice writes in her document that after going through my phone, she found pictures of my ex-girlfriends on there, and this once again is a complete lie. Alice says he ended up being secretive over his phone to what I then discovered was him stalking his ex on all social platforms. In brackets, it's been years since they broke up, and found her old NSFW pictures he kept of her. He said sorry, and that was it. Alice also showed a message that says it was never an issue before, so why is it now?
He quite literally responds to this in the video by saying,
"This is because I refused to give Alice my phone."
This bitch is crazy. Like, she's acting like I don't want to give her my phone. Yeah, so what'd you do? Well, I didn't give her my phone. look, constantly looking through his phone during the relationship is a little weird. I think that's odd behavior, but that was behavior that apparently you were okay with because since the beginning of the relationship, that's what she was doing.
Alice had complete access to my phone and social media from the moment we began dating. And the moment I tried to stop this from happening, Alice got annoyed at me, accused me of cheating, and threatened to break up with me, but has cropped these messages out of her document. Alice had full access to my phone from the moment we began dating, and would come in my room daily to check on who I'd been talking to.
If you weren't comfortable with that, you could have left. This was not after a long-term relationship. This was the start of the relationship, apparently. And if you have nothing to hide, why are you being weird? Then he says that Alice slapped him and said to unfollow all the nude slags that you follow on Instagram.
Alice told me she would only feel better if she could slap me, and if she was allowed to go through my friends list and unfollow and block people, which became a regular occurrence throughout our relationship.
And then uses the same screenshot from previously, showing that she was still stalking him after they broke up. Now, remember this screenshot, right? I'm not gonna tell you why, just remember this screenshot though. And you know how I know this? Because it says 23. You guys broke up in 24. So, okay, all right. Yeah, whatever, dude. I don't know if you need to explain this to you. You can't use the same screenshot twice for 2 different points at 2 different points in time. The point you were making previously was that she was stalking who you were following and cares after you broke up.
And was even stalking me after our breakup. I sent her this message to show that she was no longer in control of me and could no longer make me stop talking to my friends. Follow my friends when it became clear to me that I was being manipulated and blackmailed by Alice. Alice told me she would only feel better if she could slap me, and if she was allowed to go through my friends list and unfollow and block people, which became a regular occurrence throughout our relationship.
Then he says that the reason that he didn't want to give her his phone is because that he was texting his friends at the time about all the abuse that Alice was putting him through.
In the instance that Alice is referring to, I refused to give her my phone because I'd reached out to a friend of mine and I told them that Alice had been hitting me and that I didn't know what to do about it as she had threatened and blackmailed me when I had tried to leave our relationship. Alice had tried to grab my phone out of my hand, which is why she sent me these text messages. Alice would come in my room and take my phone off me on random occasions daily to go through my socials. Alice had complete access to my phone and social media from the moment we began dating. Full access to my phone from the moment we began dating and would come in my room daily. Alice would come in my room and take my phone off me on random occasions daily. Alice had full access to my phone, went through my following and text messages, which she admits to in this document. I hadn't deleted the messages of my friend, so I refused to give Alice my phone because I knew if she found out I had told anyone about the abuse, things would get worse.
Wait, he says the reason he didn't want to give her the phone is because he was messaging his friends and she didn't want her to find it. Wait, Alex, weren't you just accusing her of being crazy for calling you crazy and saying that you were acting weird, not wanting to give her her phone?
The moment I tried to stop this from happening, Alice got annoyed at me, accused me of cheating, and threatened to break up with me, but has cropped these messages out of her document.
But then you just said that you didn't give her your phone and you were acting weird is because you had messages with a friend.
I hadn't deleted the messages of my friend, so I refused to give Alice my phone because I knew if she found out I had told anyone about the abuse, things would get worse.
So what was the point of that, Pat? The whole 3 minutes that you just talked about making her look crazy for wanting to look through your phone and then getting upset when you did it, as if this was weird behavior. But then you admit to, yes, I was acting weird because I didn't want her to see my phone. Alex, how is she crazy if you were displaying signs of not wanting her to go through your phone? At that point, she's like, what the fuck is this guy's problem? Why does he want me to go through his phone anymore? I've been doing it since we started dating. Because you were being weird. I understand that from what you're saying, it's because you had messages in there saying that she had been abusing you since the beginning of your relationship. I know, but did. Also, this is when you first started dating, right? That means you would have messages with your friends back then about you messaging them about the abuse. But you have so far not shown us that. Interesting. Wow. The only messages that you've shown us with your friends are messages with iNamber saying that you can't give him more evidence, even though you say that you're completely innocent. Alex says that during this time, he wasn't really allowed to see his friends, but there was a party that apparently was going to last 4 days for some reason, and he wanted to go. She says in the screenshots that he provides that he can go, but because of responsibilities with the cat, she'd rather him not.
After I moved in with Alice wouldn't let me go see any of my friends, and when I was invited to a party, Alice told me that I couldn't go. Me and Alice argued in person about my invite to this party, and Alice told me that I couldn't go because I had responsibilities.
They're in the process of moving. The cat apparently has a vet visit. The cat's sick. So just to, make things easy and not make her deal with everything, she'd rather him not. And then claims that he actually had no idea that he had any responsibilities, even though Alex, the clips on screen show that she just told you. She even tells him to go, but she can't because of the responsibilities. At this point, she's like, whatever. All right, whatever. Go. I'll deal with it. Leave me with everything. I don't care. I don't give a shit. Fine. If you want to do that to me, go. I'm not going to stop you. And then he throws a fit and says, let's talk when you aren't in a bad mood. Why the fuck would you say that to anybody, let alone your girlfriend when she's upset with you, Alex? Let's talk when you're not on your period. Like, what the fuck? That is just... Dude. He also says that Alex tried to guilt trip him with these messages. If you read the messages that he's showing on screen, again, messages that he's showing us, just, completely uncropped, which is crazy. The first messages that he's sending her are of him telling how unappreciative and how it's not fair because she has all the time to do whatever she wants. So why can't he go do what he wants? Alex, it's also called guilt tripping. You just guilt trip her. I don't know if you're aware of what guilt tripping is. Apparently we need to teach you what terms are because you just said she did that because you have responsibilities. Oh my God, dude. I had to watch this entire thing. Do you understand how insane it is to zone out and be like, wait, what is going on? Rewind it. And then see that he's getting reprimanded for having responsibilities and wanting to go to a 4-day long party and him going, And then she wouldn't let me go. What the fuck? And at this point, it seems like he doesn't understand what living with your girlfriend looks like. If this is a person you love, you should accommodate to them. This isn't a roommate that you get to fuck sometimes. And what's even crazier is she even says this, that he's treating her like a housemate. And in response to this, he says, I invited you, man. What? This isn't your friend, dude. This is your girlfriend. This isn't your buddy that you stick your cock in sometimes. Oh my God. This is like a 16-year-old saying how annoyed he is with his girlfriend that he just can't play Call of Duty all the time. Like, again, you are in the middle of moving, your cat needs surgery. You want to leave this girl that you just moved in with to do all of this by herself so you can go party for 4 days? Not only this, 9 months later, you still don't see the issue with this. This whole this argument happened 9 months later, and you bring this up as a point to prove that she was controlling. Alex, are you like 10 years old? What the fuck? Guys, it's almost over. I promise. Trust me, watching his video is 10 times worse. In the Alice lies about living together arc of this, he says he decided not to go and says Alice stonewalled him and shows us a screenshot of him spamming her with messages. You know, a couple points ago, we talked about how she was spamming you and how that was an issue.
Alice responded by spamming me with messages.
But I guess when you spam her, it's not an issue. I don't know. Real quick, let's look at the message he sent before this. I don't even want to play games with you tonight, or something like that, right? I don't even want to play with you tonight. Then, you know, after this whole argument, he says, well, can we play games in 30? I know you're mad at me, but like, can we play games in 30 minutes? Then he says that in her document, she lied about not actually wanting to move in with Alex and that he forced her to move in with him. And this is true. According to these screenshots that Alex is showing us, we can see that it is true. She knew about it. She was excited. But instead of just showing us those messages, he decides to show us these really cringe ass messages for some fucking reason about their conversation. I love you. I miss you. I'm out eating. I miss you. I can't wait to move in with you. You have all my trust and I'll be waiting for when you get back tonight. I can't stop thinking about that 1.5 bed. Me neither. I'm very excited. That one is insane. And they replied so fast. It is, like, insane for the price. Anyone would be silly to pass up on it. We'll try to get an offer in. Also, and you're learning. Yes, we're settling down. Looking for long-term let. Yes, smiley. And I'll dress nice and hide my tattoos. See you tomorrow. Miss you. And Minky, I want to cuddle. Cuddle. I love you. Yes, but that's why his siblings has straight ears. But he has the gene because of his ears. The rest didn't. He got it from his mom. Also, any updates on the houses? They just made an alt and commented again. Send. Getting on my tits. Send what? Play PUBG? The comment. Don't have it. And I blocked them again. COD question mark? I'm calling you. Only if you play S&D. Play. Where are you? I didn't need to know this. I didn't need to know that information, but now I do. Okay, cool, great. Then he says that this convo that she shared in her document, she made in real time while they were dating, only for future use to blackmail him.
Alice says in her document that she told me she was scared to move in and has screenshotted this exact text message in real time so that it could be used to build her document that she'd been writing throughout our relationship. I was incredibly confused at why Alice had messaged me this after all the viewings we had gone to together. Obviously, I was not unaware of how horribly toxic our relationship was, as I tried to leave at many points, but I had been threatened or blackmailed out of doing so. I believe that Alice sent this so that she could retroactively build the full story she has ended up sharing publicly on social media.
Or, hypothetically, Alex, she screenshotted you being crazy and sent it to quite literally anybody, her friend, her parents, I don't fucking know, dude, her pastor, like, to just complain about you. People do that, Alex. I don't know. That's like, he's really trying to villainize her. And it's like, Alex, do you remember what we're here for?
I'm gonna fucking bash you head against the wall.
I just want to know if you remember. I don't know. I don't think you remember. Then we make it to the lies about kicking segment of the video. He says that he was the only person constantly complaining about the abuse throughout the entire relationship.
As there was never any concern for her safety shown at any point before this, and that's because I was never physically abusive towards Alice, and she knows this, as the only person constantly complaining about being physically abused was me. Alice had complained about me insulting her, but as I've shown, I would react badly to the constant physical abuse and gaslighting that I was being put through, which Alice has completely denied and hidden from her document.
But he doesn't even show this ever, except for the slap, the kick, and the push. Then he says that the kick that she accuses him of in these texts is a lie by showing a screenshot of where she says, why did you kick me? And he says, okay, yeah, I did, but, you know, it was a joke, though.
Alice started accusing me of kicking her for leverage against me, and started to say I kicked her when I tried to talk to her about the issues I've been bringing up throughout our relationship, and has now written a story backwards from this, which is untrue.
So you did kick her. Again, Alex, it doesn't matter if it's a joke or not, you did kick her, right? Do you know how evidence works? Like, it's supposed to prove your point, not prove her point. 9 months, dude. 9 months. A whole child is created in this time frame, and this is the best you could come up with, Alex. This is crazy. Then he says that in the recording where he calls her the N-word hard R was actually started because she hit him.
Alice shared a video from the same day of me following her around and yelling at her. I'm incredibly angry and upset in this video. The only context given is that Alice says that this is when I kicked her, which, as I've shown, is not what she had said at the time in the text messages, as it is not what happened. I was angry and upset because Alice had hit me and then had begun to threaten me. When I got angry and started to lose my temper, Alice recorded me.
Despite in this entire 5-minute video, not once do you bring up the fact that she hit you.
You have to know what it is. It's fine. You don't like. You don't clean up after yourself. Neither do you. So Believe it, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
I would assume that if you got so angry you called your girlfriend the N-word with a hard R, that at some point you would probably explain why. I don't know. That's just me. You know, I would never get pushed to this level. I'm not insane like you are, but if I ever did, I'd probably explain why I was being insane like this. But, you know, I guess he just forgot to do that. I don't know. And then he shows another argument where she brings up him kicking her, and instead of denying it, Alex just complains the whole time about not being able to talk about it.
The kicking incident would be brought up in many arguments from this point on. The more we would fight after the breakup, the more I pulled away, and the more Alice would change the story to sound worse, and would tell me to apologize for kicking her after tormenting and blackmailing me.
Alex, you would say here, no, I didn't actually, I didn't kick you. Not, why don't you let me talk to you about it? Why don't you let me talk to you, babe? Babe, let me talk to you about me hitting you, babe. Please let me talk to you, please. Now we're in the borderline personality disorder part of the video. Alex says, like he has already, that Alex says that he was a narcissist, and he says that's not true. At this point in the video, we can all agree that Alex is a narcissist. I mean, you call yourself internet sensation, dude. I don't know. I mean, look at these texts. Does this not prove that you're a narcissist? I don't know what else would. I don't have texts like this. I don't text people like this. I would say, you know, I'm probably not a narcissist. I don't know. I guess that's what a narcissist would say, but to be fair, I don't have texts like this ever, and I don't say shit like this because I'm not crazy, but you know, whatever. Then he proceeds to show how Alice was self-diagnosing herself, which is a little cringe, I'm not gonna lie.
Alice has wrote in our document that I carried many issues into our relationship and has written that she is an empath and that I am a narcissist. This is not what I was told by Alice when we started dating. Alice had told me that she had borderline personality disorder, but that she was self-diagnosed. I am confused why this has not been mentioned at any point in this document, as it was a big part of our relationship and how we interacted with each other. Alice sent me a video on TikTok after we had an argument, because she began to verbally abuse me, go through my phone, and hit me during our argument.
Yep, self-diagnosing yourself is cringe. I'm not gonna fold on that. Go to a doctor, please. And then he shows more embarrassing ass screenshots of a convo after she sends him a video of a doctor talking about BPD symptoms on TikTok. He also plays the TikTok in full. Like, I don't need to watch this, dude. Now that we get to the birthday lies segment, Alex brings up the claim that in Alice's document, she says that Alex missed her birthday because of a Star Wars event and didn't care. He says that this is actually not true, as the event was planned, and that he had no idea that this would be an issue.
Alice has said that I bought her a single gift after seeing a movie, and that I eventually came to hers at midnight. I called Alice at 1 past midnight, the moment it became our birthday, and I know this because I sent a picture of me calling Alice on iMessage, and we then spoke on Discord where I wished her happy birthday. Not only did I also text Alice throughout the day before I left to see her, I wished her happy birthday on the text messages again for the second time after our call earlier in the morning. I'd also bought Alice gifts in advance and wrapped them, and she knows this because I'd already showed her that I'd wrapped them before. It's not possible that I forgot Alice's birthday and only bought one gift when I sent her a picture of her presents that I'd wrapped, and conveniently, this has been left out of the document as it doesn't fit the story that Alice has created. Alice says that I cancelled her birthday and that she had to tell me it was her birthday because I had forgotten it, but this is not true. I had sent text to Alice about being excited to see her on her birthday, and I'd gone out to get her some more gifts on the day of her birthday to add to the ones I'd already bought her and wrapped. I texted her asking for her wrist size for the bracelet that I was buying her as an add-on to the presents I'd already wrapped and ordered online. Alice says that she'd spent the whole day waiting for me, but we texted the entire day. She was completely aware of when I was going to arrive and what my schedule with work was. I asked Alice to send me her address so that I could walk from the station, and then proceeded to send her a photograph of me carrying a bag of gifts that I bought for her as I walked to her house. I did see Alice on her birthday as we had planned. I did not buy her one last-minute gift on the way from work as I brought everything with me. I went directly from work to see Alice as we had planned.
Now, again, I'll concede she did lie on this, as he said happy birthday the day of and bought her gifts beforehand, not right after, showing us receipts that he bought the gifts way before her birthday. Then we get to the essay part. He talks about that in her document. Alice claims that one time when they were on vacation, she brought up there was a video about a girl being hypersexual after an essay. While that played, she brought up to Alex, you know, this happened to me, wanted to talk to you about it because it's, you know, a personal thing that happened to me. And she claimed that Alex got super upset, so she left the room. And after doing this, he threatened to leave Italy without her. And this was really scary because it was her first time being away in a different country, away from her family.
Alice wrote that we ended up going on holiday together to Italy in July, and an argument came about when he was watching a video about a girl being hypersexual after trauma. I opened up to him about my essay and the trauma that I've been through myself. In response to this, he tells me he doesn't want to know what has been done to me by other guys, and I ended up leaving into another room crying. He threatened to leave and get a flight back on his own, taking into account this was my only third time abroad, and he knew that it would make me very upset and scared, like he knew I needed him there with me. Bring up weird shit on our first holiday, you ruin every moment, I have no fond memories with you. I spoke about something I'd gone through with the trauma, opening up to him about my experience of essay, and this is how he responded.
Alex says this is a whole different set of events. He says that she fucking teleported behind him out of nowhere, says that she just slept with a whole bunch of guys, and after hearing this, he was like, okay, I don't really want to hear that. Why would you tell me that? And she didn't like the way that he talked about it, and when he tried talking about it later, she didn't want to.
This is not what happened at all. I was scrolling through TikTok and watching a video because I was about to record when Alice, who was standing behind me out of nowhere, told me that she had slept with many people due to hypersexuality. The video I was watching was not about sexual trauma at all, so I was massively taken aback by this comment and thought it was an odd thing to say on the first day of our holiday. I was not really sure what to say as a response, so I told Alice I didn't like how she brought this up, and I didn't think it was the best way to start a conversation about something as serious and delicate as this. She didn't open up to me about being sexually assaulted. I was not even aware of the conversation and what it was about, as Alice had only made a passing comment about hypersexuality and her previous partners. After I finished work, I went to the bedroom to talk to her, and she refused to speak to me. Alice then told me that I should sleep on the sofa. I was more than willing to talk about whatever Alice wanted to, and I apologized for upsetting her. When I mentioned again that I was not annoyed, I was just surprised by what she had said. She told me she didn't care, pushed me, and told me to sleep in the other room.
Now, either one of these is just bad. Now, at this point, this is a he said, she said situation, right? But we do have Alice's DMs with Alex talking about this situation, saying that he has no fond memories with her at all. It was Crazy. He pulls up these screenshots, by the way, too, where Alex says, "'Cause you're fucking weird. Bringing up weird shit on our first holiday ruin every moment. I have no fond memories with you, actually none. Just moments when you're not being a huge," and then it cuts off. Yeah, but Alex, I don't know. This doesn't really make you look good. I'm gonna be honest. Here's the part where I'll get serious. He claims that he was essayed by a guy, and after they broke up, he found out that Alice started following that guy just to hurt him. And when he confronted her about this, she doesn't even deny it. It was just to hurt him.
Alice followed the person who I told her had sexually assaulted me in the hopes that I would react. I was incredibly upset that Alice was using something deeply personal that I told her about in confidence as a way to get to me. Alice messaged me saying that I knew why, and then went on to clarify that she did this because she was upset with me.
Now, as much as I don't like Alex, this is fucked up. This is just weird behavior. Like, why would you do this? And I understand, after all the abuse and everything, but like outside of this, looking at just Alex as a person, that's kind of fucked up, dude. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be real. Also, she blames him for this and says, "Why didn't you do anything after?" And it's just like,
we continue to talk about it, and this is when Alice told me that I should have fought back. I've blurred the names, so I have no interest in making this a public matter, and I have no intention to discuss this publicly beyond this, as I hoped it would remain private between us. But
like, you just let him walk away, and it's like, what the fuck? Again, this is why Alice isn't completely innocent in this situation. She's kind of a shitty person. I'm never going to not concede that, but obviously the things that Alex has done, compared to the things that Alice has done, obviously Alex is the shittier person in this situation. But this here is this is indefensible. This is disgusting. Why the fuck would you do that? And then in the continued harassment segment, he talks about the Dinky Jabo drama. I'm not even going to cover this. I don't care. And then in the King Ani segment, he talks about how he was exposed previously for completely false allegations, which is true. That did happen. That was terrible. But he cries about it, even though he did this to Slazo. He brings up the Slazo situation and says, "Well, I apologize to him in private."
At no point during our relationship did I at any point ever get physical. To write a statement that contains no screenshots, texts, or evidence to support these false claims shows them for what they are: baseless and untrue. Me and Anna continued to stay in contact with each other after the breakup. We had met up at multiple gaming conventions in England and Los Angeles, and all of these messages were over a year after we had broken up, as we hadn't had any form of falling out, and we'd maintained a friendship after our relationship had ended. Anna wrote in her document that it was the most toxic relationship she'd ever been in, and that she was lucky to get out of it when she did. That we had stayed in contact for an entire year after, and Anna had even come round to my flat in London, where we had food and went out for dinner. And yet Anna has also used this as an opportunity to blame me for a situation we were involved in with another YouTuber called Slazo. The messages between us at the time show that Anna wrote the statement on Slazo with his ex-girlfriend Shay, and that I ignored this message at the time that she had sent it to me. I was aware of the situation, but I had no involvement in writing anything, and Anna had even messaged me acknowledging that I didn't want to be involved, which is why I had not replied to her messages where she had tried to involve me. To write that everyone got the blame for something that I had apparently made up, when in reality, as shown here, Anna was the person who had written the statement, is ridiculous and a blatant lie. I should never have shared what Anna and Shay had written, and I apologized privately to Slazo when it took place at the time.
This is just karma at this point. What? Alex says that Alice blurred text to show that Alex started all of the arguments, but in the screenshot, it literally has you saying, "I crossed the line." What does that mean, Alex? And then he shows us his skin condition again. Oh my god, dude, okay. Then Alex says that Alice tried pushing him to physical violence with her actions.
Alice constantly tried to push me to physical violence, which I refused to do.
One, that makes zero fucking sense. There's nothing my wife could do to make me hit her. That's just not how that works. If you hit people, especially women, that's just what you do. There's nothing anyone can do to make you do that. That's just a conscious choice that you make, dude. He says that she actually, wanted him to do it. And in order to prove this, he shows text where Alice says, "Hit me, burn me." Obviously, she's being sarcastic. She's being extreme for the sake of argument. You can see that in the text. Also, in this text, you say, "Watch your fucking tone. Why aren't you apologizing, trying to fix it?" Like, he also says that Alice would call him autistic and bully him.
Alice believed that I was on the spectrum and would call me autistic and bully me when I tried to discuss the abuse in our relationship.
And then shows isolated texts where he Control F searched in their text history for the word ignored and just shows how many times he said ignored, and says that she ignored him throughout all his pleas to stop the physical violence throughout the entire relationship since the beginning. Yep. He also says that Alice freely used the N-word in their relationship, right? And to prove this, he pulls up this screenshot. What is this picture? What the fuck is this? And he said that her friends would say the N-word constantly and it would make him uncomfortable. But when he brought it up, she would just say to ignore it, and that she brought this type of language into the relationship, making it normal for him to say it.
I had complained about this at the beginning of our relationship and texted Alice about the fact that her and her friends use this language freely. Alice would tell me to ignore this and told me that I was stupid for complaining about it, and that I cared too much about how people would perceive me online. Alice has lied that I normalized this language on Twitter, despite it being her who actively bragged about it and brought it into our relationship.
Yeah, so that's not how that works, Alex. Also, there's clips of you saying the N-word before this. That's clearly just a word that you use. Alice can't make you use the N-word. Also, if you're dating some white bitch that uses the N-word all the time and hitting you, why are you doing that? This seems like a kind of shitty person. I don't know. Also, again, this is the end of the video. He never even talks about what he's being accused of. The entire time, he never talks about it. Not once. The brick is never brought up one time. I know this video was long. If you made it to the end, thank you. I hope you did, because I've had to watch this video over the course of 3 days because I thought I was going crazy with how many times this man had used the same screenshot and repeated his points over and over and over again. In the time it takes to create a human baby, Alex made this entire hour and 42-minute argument saying that, while what he did was bad, despite never actually acknowledging what he did, Alice was actually just as bad, if not worse. As she said the N-word, guys. Yeah, but didn't you threaten to kill her? Yeah, but she called me autistic. Instead of just manning up and being like, you know what? Yeah, I did. And for 9 months, I've been scared. I've been scared to respond. I'm sorry. It's not who I am anymore. I'm sorry to Alice. I'm sorry to everybody. You know, I'll be back eventually. But instead, you sat for 9 months trying to come up with an angle on how Alice saying the N-word and being mean to you over text and slapping you is just as bad as you threatening the killer and possibly even assaulting her. Alex, what the fuck? Like, I've never watched his videos ever because I'm not a fucking 13-year-old girl. The fact that this video has 400,000 views and 8,000 likes, people are even in the comments defending him. What the fuck? Are you people brain dead? Like, again, Alice is not a great person. I'm not even going to say that. She sounds like an insane person. But regardless, she's a victim in this situation. He's also back to uploading again, which is crazy. But yeah, that was it. I spent a long time covering this and just trying to go through it all because it just didn't make any sense. And I finally did it. This is going to be a long ass video. And again, if you made it to the end, genuinely thank you so much. There's no reason he should be able to move past this. This should be a forever cancel hole. He should just be in this hole of not being able to get uncanceled forever. This is disgusting. Yeah, I don't know. That's really all I have to say about it. Yeah. If you liked the video, subscribe. You know, this took me a little bit. The video's probably not gonna be that well edited, but you know. Yeah, like, subscribe. I love you. I promise I'm not doing this to my wife. I can vouch for that at the very least. But yeah, bye.
No. Wait.